1. A nightmare which showed me way to success. Eventually, I got out of a knotty way to move in a restful manner, meanwhile giving a halt to hectic disillusionment walk. The path to be perused was chock-a-block of darkness, but abruptly the moon came up and showered its light on my access road. Subsequently, my eyeballs could see the encountering picture ahead as a misty light spontaneously focused on the thoroughfare. The trail seemed to be of less used one, and solely was reflecting a horror effect as there were bare trees though the climate was chilled winter. The scene disappointed me as I supposed that once again I am going to catch 22 as customary. So the dreadful stance pushed me to soon get off the place, and so I set my weariness body in forward mode. The dry pale yellow leaves had also got in motion with me, as if a bit of my restricted vim got transferred to them too. Absolutely after 3 nasty paces I came across an old sturdy man, walking on the neighbor road. I summoned him on to assist me out with an address to city, but the man overlooked and went on without responding. I called him for the second time, but this time he gave me a glared look and answered with some offensive words, "There is no address for the city, but the ways only leads to success." The old man's words made me wonder for hours, but I was still beating around the bush and couldn't get to the point. In that case, I kick-started covering some more distances when I met an old greasy hand pump. Certainly I wasn't thirsty, but was in a need of clearing my messy look, so immediately I responded to the presence of water pump, but it was pretty much hard to operate it as it has been there without drawn into use since ages. However, it was a moment to cheer up, for I was successful in moving the handle up and down, but unfortunately water did not make any gesture. I spontaneously worked on pump for some more minutes, but yet there was no sign of water, so finally I fell apart and was in a mood of taking rest, so I counted on a nearby tree to confer me with shelter. The opted place was a bit grimy, accordingly I was looking for broom kind of thing when I came across a heap of dried, fresh leaves. I carelessly disrupted the neatly drawn heap and came out with an eccentric massive leaf, which was indeed not found in the area where I found it. But yet for a while I rummaged around to know if the tree was really situated around, but I was proved correct. That kind of species can't be grown in such a location. So I owned it to broom my place. After the act of clearing, when I was above to throw it at that time, an idea was born in my hectic mind for via the leaf into a self-entertaining work. Gradually I came up with an initiative of scripting an ode on the rarely found leaf. The thoughts started to flow. In fact, I was completely in the world of thoughts, where I was put out of my mind about the actual world. Hours passed away. I felt like I got back to my mom and dad, but hastily a tremendous thunder drew me out of the thoughtful world. And unluckily, I had to hurry up because the condition of weather reflected that it was going to rain. I was to look for a cottage or protective place, so I drew together all my belongings and set on for the destiny. Luckily, after covering up some miles, I got an aged cottage. It seemed to be dwelled by someone, as a dim beam of light with us seen. Immediately I made my presence at the wooden door and knocked stridently. The door was opened by a fair young lady. I asked her if I could have a night's stay at her cottage for tonight. She instantaneously replied with a positive answer. The lady bid me to go for refreshment and then arrive on dining slab for a hot winter tea. Submitting to her polite words, I removed my bag and placed it on a table. After the healthy tea, I asked the pretty lady for the way to guest room for having a night, but I forgot my bag in the drawing room. I was just about to close the eyelids when a stormy wind hit the windows. And consequently the wind broke into the house, and my bag kept downstairs fell on ground, and leaf of epic flew to the lady standing near it. First the lady thought that it would be personal, but she knew that nobody records a personal thing on a leaf. And so she gazed at it. It said, "I'm lone in the misty chilled darkness. Why is it blown? To me the loneliness. Oh my soul, far away from your goal. Go get into the hole to perceive a boon." The next morning I thanked and requested the lady to just drop me to a nearby city in her very own car. We set out for the city and luckily got to one where she took me to a building named as Author's Destin. It seemed strange, but as I stepped out of the car a rush of media surrounded me with camera and was continually raising questions about the epic written by me on the leaf. I was knocked for six that where did they get my ode from, but soon the confusion left me and I found out that the helpful lady was a publisher and she read it last night and was impressed by it. Subsequently everyone was showering flowers on me when I felt something disgusting. In place of flowers there was bucket full of water in the hands of my mom, which she was pouring on me in the early morning to wake me up for usual dragging to the school. When I got up then I realized that it was just a nightmare. 2. The Donkey and the Load of Salt. Long ago there lived a merchant. He used to deal in salt. He had a donkey to carry load. He used to sell his salt loaded on the donkey. He had to cross a stream to go to other village. Once his donkey fell into the stream and much of the salt was dissolved in water. The donkey easily crossed the stream due to the light weight of salt on his back. The donkey was happy. The donkey on his next trip knowingly fell into the stream. The merchant suspected the animal's intention. On the other day too the donkey intentionally repeated the same trick. His master was now sure about the animal's evil intention. The merchant next day loaded the donkey with a lot of cotton. The donkey once again repeated the same trick. He fell into the stream. This time his load became very heavy. The donkey carried the heavy load. It was very tiring for him to move on. The donkey now realized his mistake. He stopped falling down into the stream anymore. He thought that it was not good to play tricks. The merchant had taught the donkey a good lesson. Moral: you can befool a person a few times, but not always. 3. The Blind Man with a Lamp. Once there lived a blind man in a small town. He always carried a lighted lamp in his hand whenever he went out at night. On one dark night, he was going with his lighted lamp in his hand. A group of men were passing that way. They saw the blind man and made fun of him. They said, "Oh blind man, why do you carry the lighted lamp? You are blind and cannot see anything?" The blind man politely said, "This lamp is not for me, but for you people who have eyes. You may not see a blind man coming and push him." They felt ashamed and begged pardon. Moral: Think twice before you speak. 4. The Lost Camel. Once two merchants lost a camel. They met a traveler and asked him if he had seen it. The man replied he had not. "But was your camel blind in the right eye?" said he to them. "Yes, he was," replied the merchants. "Was it lame in one left foot?" The man asked again. "Certainly it was," said the merchants. "Was its front tooth missing?" said he to them. "Indeed I," said they. "Was it loaded with honey on one side and with wheat on the other?" "That is just how it was loaded," they answered. "Please take us to it." "But I have not seen your camel," said the man, "and I do not know where it is." The merchants got angry and said, "Then how could you tell us so exactly everything about our camel?" "That is my secret," said the man. The merchants took him to the king, who asked him where the camel was. The man replied that he had not seen it. At this the king asked him how he knew so much about it. The man answered that the camel had eaten grass only on the left side of the path. So he knew that it was blind. The marks of its one left foot were faint. This showed that the camel was lame. While eating grass, it had left a little turf in the middle. So he learnt that it had lost front teeth. There were ants carrying grains of corn on one side of the path and flies eating honey on the other. The king was satisfied with his explanation and let him go. 5. Going to law. Once two cats, one white and one black, quarreled over a large piece of cake. The white cat said that she had seen the cake first and so it was hers. The black cat refused to allow her claim and pretended to scratch her. A monkey saw the cats quarreling. He asked them what the matter was. He advised them not to fight. He said that he would be the guide and settle the quarrel justly. Both the cats agreed. The monkey broke the cake into two pieces. He said that he would divide the cake equally for them. He got a pair of scales and put one piece in each pan. One piece weighed heavier than the other. So he took a big bite out of the larger piece and ate it up. Now the other piece began to weigh heavier. So he bit the other piece and tried to make it equal. In this way the monkey went on biting first one piece and then the other, till they became very small. The cats were alarmed. They asked him to give them back the pieces. They said that they were quite satisfied. But the monkey replied that it was the reward for his labor. Saying this, he put the two pieces in his mouth. The cats lost the whole cake and went away sadder and wiser. 6. Half of the profit. A rich man wanted to give a great feast to his friends. He got all kinds of dishes prepared, but he could not get fish. He offered a reward to the man who would bring it. After some time a fisherman brought a big fish. But the gatekeeper would not let him until he had promised to give him half the reward. The fisherman agreed. The rich man was highly pleased and wanted to give him a lot of money, but the fisherman refused to take it. Instead, he demanded 100 lashes on his back. All were surprised. At last the rich man ordered a servant to give him 100 lashes. When the fisherman had received 50, He asked them to stop as he had a partner in the business. It was the gatekeeper. The rich man understood the whole thing. He was given the remaining 50 lashes dismissed from the service. The rich man gave the fisherman a handsome reward.